What's up guys, Matt Nuzzo hanging out here at the Real Flagship store. Today we're going to talk to you about the big three in picking the right kiteboarding twin tip. We're talking about rocker, dimensions, and flex. There's a few other things we're going to talk about as well, but those are the big three in kiteboarding. First, we're going to talk to you about rocker. The rocker of a kiteboard is the amount of bend from tip to tip. So you take a look here, this is a high rocker board. This is what's considered a wake style board, so there's a lot of rocker from tip to tip. This is going to make the board, when it lands, it's going to push down through the water and land softly, okay? It's also going to take a lot more to make this board go upwind, okay? With all this rocker, it's going to have to push a lot harder to get the board going upwind and get more rail into the water. If you look at a board with a really flat rocker in comparison, we'll take a look at the opposite end of the spectrum. This I could have as my dining room table and have dinner on it because it's so flat. So this board right here is a light wind board, and you can see it's a almost completely flat board. And that flatness allows for the board to have a lot of water line in there and just really cruise upwind and gives you a very stable platform. But again, that rocker line, which is a key characteristic, is going to allow you to kind of knife the board into the water and really jam upwind. The second thing in picking the right twin tip is understanding dimensions. Okay, dimensions is going to be length times the width there. We've got the length and width are all done in centimeters to make it easy. There was a time there where we're doing length in inches, width in centimeters. It was getting a little crazy in the early days of kiteboarding, but now it's all in centimeters, so make it really easy and consistent. So you can take a look here. This board is a 144 by 43. This is going to be your consistent all around, all conditions twin tip. You've got this one, which is a light wind twin tip, which is 147 by 44. Wouldn't think that 1 centimeter difference is going to make a huge difference in the riding characteristics, but if you take a look, that board is carrying that dimension all the way up to the tips. So this board here is really wide at the tips, whereas this one has more outline shape and tapers down and is narrower at the tip. This board is going to be smoother through the chop with a narrower tip, but it's going to take more power to ride. This board right here is going to take less power to ride, but it's also going to hammer upwind. It's going to be a little bumpy in the chop. Also, when you look at these two boards as a difference, flatter rocker versus higher rocker. So now we're seeing how rocker is playing in characteristic with dimensions, really critical for the overall ride and feel of your kiteboarding twin tip. The final piece of the puzzle is flex. Okay, flex is, there's no real measure in flex, but flex is going to be how much that board is going to bend. Okay, so you want to have a flex that's going to be appropriate to your weight. The heavier the rider, the stiffer the flex, the lighter the rider, the softer the flex. When you look at the bottom of a twin tip, there's a lot of stuff going on in some of these boards. So some boards are just completely flat, some have tons of channeling and chines and all sorts of weird stuff on it. We'll take this board here, pretty simple design, got a single concave right through the middle. So the single concave just lets the board go further down into the water. Will help with absorbing some chop. And then you have a small release, small channel out of the tail here. This isn't going to be doing too much because it's a very subtle channel. It might give you a little extra grip. More of that subtle single concave through the middle is going to make kind of the board set deeper and ride smoother through the chop. When you come over and look at this board here, you're going to take a look and see on this one you've got a spine that goes right down the middle. So right down here you have a spine in what's considered a double concave. And that double concave right there, that double concave as it's going through the water is basically water's hitting it and pushing it to the side, so it's allowing the board to break up the chop a little more. So when that piece of chop hits here, it breaks the chop and pushes it through the center of the board. So double concave. This one also has some kind of chines through the tail and a little more shape off here on the tail. It's going to give you a little extra bite to it. Okay? You'll see some of the boards, the wake style boards, will have a lot of channeling in the back. Some of the riders are taking the fins off and riding them finless, so those channels are going to give you a little extra bite for that. Generally speaking, the less stuff that's on the bottom of the board, the faster it's going to go. The more stuff that's on the bottom of the board, it's going to slow it down a little bit, but it's going to be a smoother ride and smoother through chop. Foot straps are a really important consideration because you need to make sure they're going to fit your feet with and without booties. Depending on the size foot you have, some foot straps are adjusted per size. So this strap right here is adjustable, but they're per size. So they come in extra large, XX large, small. So you want to make sure you get the right size range that are going to fit your feet. This foot strap is going to be highly adjustable, going to fit, size 6 to size 13. It's going to fit a ton of different foot size, and it's going to be really, really adjustable. So when you're picking the foot straps, make sure you try them on or talk to your sales rep to get the right ones that are going to be suited for your style of foot with and without booties. We've given you an overview of the big three in picking a kiteboarding twin tip. Main thing you have to consider is what's going to be right for you in your riding conditions. Again, your size is going to be a really big defining characteristic, as well as the water conditions and style of riding you want to be doing. If you have any questions or need recommendations, give us a call at 866-REAL-KITE or visit us realwatersports.com. We'll see you folks on the water.